Finding a way every week. How about the Buffalo Bills?
No overthinking, right? Go play some ball. Go play some football.
It's an exciting time to be a Buffalo Bill and a fan of the Buffalo Bills.
Welcome into Week 10 of the Sean McDermott Show, presented by Kaleida Health, and we're pleased once again, of course, to be joined by Sean. Coach, you went into New York. You got the best effort from the Jets of their season, no question about it. What do you tell your team after you take their best punch, take a tough loss, and what's your message after a game like that?
Well, you try and keep things in perspective. First of all, it's a long season. We didn't play our game. They played a really strong game on their side, and we've got to continue to make adjustments and pivot where we need to pivot and make those appropriate adjustments, not overcorrect, but also not undercorrect.
Right, tough outing. Josh, second game in a row, 2 picks, but he also had 86 yards rushing, a couple of touchdowns. And he said after the game, it's tough for the team to win when your quarterback plays like that. What did you think Josh can learn from that? What would you like to see him adjust on going forward?
Yeah, well, Josh he's been a good player for a long time around here, and he's going to have many more good days. That was not a good day, and he knows that. And it's great when one of your leaders, the face of the franchise, can be humbling and take that approach. And I think that says a lot to our locker room. It says a lot to our team, our organization, and when a guy like that can look himself in the mirror and say, hey, I didn't do a good enough job, it makes my job a little bit easier.
Well, you've been dealing with some injuries all year as well. Milano, Poyer, Spencer Brown were out of this game. Now Greg Rousseau might miss some time. Still waiting on Tre'Davious White. What's your position on how do you make sure in a game that's ongoing that you get guys ready to play, but they may not know if they're going to play right up until the last minute? How do you handle that?
Yeah, that's a balance, and that's where you rely on our medical staff to give us accurate information and timely information updated for us, and then you get everybody ready to go that you can. And no one's coming back to save the team, right? We've had a number of injuries, but whether it's Tre'Davious and as great a player as he is, it's all hands on deck. Everyone's got to do their job and do their job well.
Yeah, well, Jets came out 174 yards on 34 carries, 5+ yards per carry. You've given up quite a few yards over the last couple of games, and the Jets were 2-4 in the red zone. So you got all this stuff going. You're still only allowing 20 points a game. You're still allowing the fewest points in the NFL. How confident are you that this defense can keep it going as the season progresses?
Well, confident, Steve, and the guys in the room, the coaches as well. We have to make some adjustments, and that's what you have to do through the course of a season, is make those adjustments and continue on with your confidence.
I want to ask you about Damar Hamlin. Against the Jets, he had a game-high 12 tackles. He had a sack, and he had a quarterback hurry. He's kind of filled in admirably now that he's gotten a chance to get on the field regularly. How do you feel about the job he's done?
Young player that's ascending. Every game he's out there, he gets more and more experience. He's exposed to more and more situations and learning opportunities, and so he's only going to continue to grow and get better.
All right, so you've got 2 losses this year, but they're the Jets and the Dolphins, right? So you still sit atop the East, and you're still holding the tiebreaker with Kansas City. You're still the 1 seed. Is that enough of a silver lining to kind of get you going and knowing that you get another shot at the only 2 teams that have beaten you this year?
Maybe. We'll see. I don't like losing in the division. I don't like losing to anyone, especially in the division. But, listen, we're 6-2, and there's a lot to be said for that. That said, again, we have to continue to evolve as a football team as we move throughout the rest of the season.
Okay, Coach, we're going to catch up with you later in the show to get your final thoughts on this next game against the Vikings on Sunday.
The Game Plan is presented by Energy Mark. Trust Energy Mark for renewable energy supply.
Coming up, Eric Wood breaks down the tape from the Bills' tough loss to the Jets. And stay tuned to hear Taron Johnson mic'd up.
Chopping Wood is presented by St. Bonaventure University, an official education partner of the Buffalo Bills.
Welcome back to the Sean McDermott Show, and it's now time to look back at the tape from the Bills' loss to the Jets with our good buddy Eric Wood. What stood out to you in this loss to the Jets?
Well, really, the offense struggled and was overall an uneven performance. At times, they played well enough to steal the victory, but ultimately, when you turn the ball over the way they did, you're going to lose a lot in the NFL. The offense starts and ends with Josh Allen. He started the game off with a very nice throw, but had 2 costly interceptions. But he was also their leading rusher in the game and had 2 touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah, well, let's start with the positives. Josh started the game off with a deep shot to Diggs right out of the gate. It was 42 yards.
With the way Sauce Gardner lines up, the Bills knew that he was going to be on the left side of the Jets defense. So essentially they were targeting him on the very first play of the game. They're the beneficiary of great field position too. You often see offensive coordinators dial up a shot play right around midfield. They motion Diggs across the formation, and he stutters right about 10 yards down the field. This gives Sauce Gardner the read that maybe he can get his hands on him. As soon as he puts that right arm out, Diggs goes right past. Josh was looking for him the whole way, but did a great job looking off the safety prior to the throw for a long pitch and catch.
On the next possession, Josh called his own number and got down to the 1 to set up an easy touchdown.
3rd and long in the red zone is a very tough situation to be. Josh drops back to pass. It's a 4-man rush. They get out of their rush lanes. And although there's kind of a robber player in the middle, it's a match zone concept. So you see the linebacker running across the field, voiding that big open gap. Josh gets upfield. He's going to make a guy miss, and he's going to get down what we thought was a touchdown, and he ends up scoring himself the next play on the QB sneak.
Now, a little later, Josh took a designed run, what turned out to be a 36-yard touchdown, and really the defining highlight of this game. Break this one down.
We've seen this concept over the years. Brian Daboll would dial it up as well. And essentially, you have everybody working to the right side of the field for the Bills, including the running back in motion. And so all the action, all the eyes of the defense are looking that way. And I mean, essentially, there's no one even for Mitch Morse to block as he pulled around. That's how well this is schemed up. And that's what can happen when you run the ball with your quarterback, because it becomes 11-on-11 football. The only guy that's unblocked is the single high safety. He's unable to make the play. Josh goes in for the score, and this is when he did his headstand backward somersault deal.
Well, we have to look at the interception, so let's start with the first one on the first drive. What happened here?
Yeah, this was tough for me to call in the broadcast booth because I wasn't exactly sure what Josh Allen was looking at here. Now I have the advantage of looking at it from the aerial view. He doesn't. The safety comes right behind the defensive end, and Josh said after the game he just simply didn't see him. He thought he had Dawson Knox wide open, and that's why he lobbed it out there. At the time, I thought maybe Dawson drifted on the play, but Josh Allen gave himself full credit for this interception after the game, simply saying he did not see the safety that was coming out there to the flat.
Josh's second pick came right after the Von Miller sack fumble and led to the Jets' go-ahead score. What did you see on this one?
Yeah, this is just cover 2 defense by the Jets, and I guess Josh thought on this play, it seemed like a miscommunication on the outside. It seemed like he thought there should have been, a receiver in that area based on where he throws it, because Gabe Davis is breaking out on that play. But I believe Josh also was assuming that Sauce Gardner, who should have the flat and cover 2 defense, would stick right by James Cook. And so Sauce Gardner drops into that hole and makes an easy interception. It was the second head-scratching interception of the game, something we're not used to seeing from Josh. And after they score here, it's a big-time turning point in the game.
Great stuff as always, Eric. Thanks for this, and we're going to catch up with you next week to break down the Bills game against the Vikings.
Looking forward to it, Steve.
When we come back, we'll have Taron Johnson mic'd up from Week 9, and later we'll take a look at the next-gen stats on Sportsology.
Mic'd Up is presented by Geico.
Hey, trust each other today. Trust each other today. Trust all your work. Let's go. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win. Hey, I'm mic'd up. Okay, I'm mic'd up. Come on, baby. Be you out there, boy. Yes, sir. Let's go. Lead him. Already. Let me take it one play at a time. One play at a time. Let's go to work, baby. Let's go. Let's go to work. Let's go to work. Fearless, dog. Fearless, dog. Fearless. Let's go to work, baby.
Hey, this guy's got a 24 Taron Johnson jersey over here, bro.
I know.
That's a legendary move right there. Oh, he did? That's my favorite. I thought I had to tell you. That's pretty cool.
Watch what the 7 do, though.
Whoa! Thanks so much, Taron.
Yeah, most definitely.
I was in front row when you intercepted Baltimore.
That's that. There you go.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
You have a good day. What you say, don't blink? Don't blink.
It's okay to be nervous. Don't be afraid, though.
Facts. 2. Set the tone, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Set the time. Hey, the ball on our mind. Ball on your mind. Ball on your mind. You got to put the ball.
Gets inside the 20, inside the 15, headed to the end zone, and he is in. Touchdown. Touchdown, Buffalo. Josh Allen just ran it in from 39 yards out.
Hey, this is a big stop. Let's go. This is a big stop. Who got who? Tim. Get right for me, baby. Hey, get right for me, Big Phil. Get right for me, Greg. He threw that. That wasn't open.
Promise you that.
Yeah.
Keep chipping.
We got one more quarter, bro. Hey, let's keep going. Make a play. Hey, ain't no feeling sorry for ourselves and none of that. We gotta make a play. We gotta stand up.
To throw it, but he's going to get stopped. He is dropped. He is sacked by Hamlin back around the 11 or 12 yard line.
What I'm talking about. Good D-Ham. What I'm talking about, baby. He's got to throw a deep one. Come on, Gabe. Thank you, bro. You nice too, bro. You nice too. How you doing, bro? You too. We came out together. Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. Good luck rest of the season, bro. Keep on. Yeah.
Still to come on the Sean McDermott Show, we'll break down the Bills' next-gen stats from the loss in New York, and stay tuned to hear Coach's final thoughts on facing the 7-1 Vikings at home.
Sportsology is presented by ECMC. ECMC, bringing hope and healing to Western New York.
Sam Martin will kick it. The kick is in the air. Contact. The ball rolls around inside the 10-yard line. The Bills have it surrounded, 4 of them, and they will down it inside the 5.
It's 4th down and 14 from Buffalo's 46. The Bills' special teams units in their punt formation. Jets wide receiver Braxton Berrios is the lone returner back deep on the Jets' 10-yard line. Reed Ferguson snaps the ball, and Bills punter Sam Martin sends a high-flying kick from Buffalo's 36 down to the Jets' 10-yard line. Berrios ditches the punt and instead blocks left side gunner Taiwan Jones. Bills' right side gunner Saran Neal runs untouched off the snap, and he downs the ball at the Jets' 4-yard line. Martin's punt had a hang time of 3.9 seconds, and it traveled 44 yards in the air. The ball rolled an extra 6 yards after its initial landing. Siran Neal ran 75.11 total yards, the most of any player on either team. He was also the fastest player on the field, topping out at 20.86 miles per hour. The entire play took 12.6 seconds.
Snap. And he wants to throw it, but he's going to get stopped. He is dropped. He is sacked by Hamlin back around the 11 or 12-yard line.
It's 3rd down and 2 from Buffalo's 2-yard line. The Jets offense is in an 11 personnel set up against a 3-3-5 Bills nickel defense. Jets quarterback Zach Wilson's in the shotgun with running back James Robinson in the backfield. The ball is snapped and Wilson fakes the give to Robinson, who runs left. Bills safety Damar Hamlin recognizes the fake and he shoots through the right side C-gap, bringing down Wilson for an 8-yard loss. On this play, Hamlin traveled a total of 14.56 yards and closed the gap on Wilson from 7.72 yards at the snap to just 0.19 yards in 3.2 seconds. Hamlin topped out at 11.76 miles per hour as this play took 5.6 seconds to complete. With this week's Sportsology, I'm Chris Brown.
Coming up next on the Sean McDermott Show, Maddy Glab and Chris Brown go inside the matchup with Minnesota. Plus, Coach gives us his final thoughts on what it will take to bounce back against the Vikings at home.
Game Preview is presented by Independent Health. You deserve the red shirt treatment.
Welcome into this week's Game Preview. Maddy Glab alongside Bills insider Chris Brown, and the Buffalo Bills have a Week 10 test against the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to talk about the rushing offense and run defense here for the Bills, because two important notes, I think, in this game. The Bills against the Jets, Sean McDermott said, they were a little bit too one-dimensional, which he means they needed to do a better job of running the ball. Well, the Bills are averaging 124 rushing yards a game. Not a bad number, but Josh Allen is also averaging 49 rushing yards a game, which makes up a big chunk of that 124 rushing yards a game. So when teams are putting pressure on Josh Allen, when they're eliminating some of the passing lanes, why is it important, and how can the Buffalo Bills start to use that rushing offense a little bit more now?
Yeah, they just have to block it up better. They have to execute better. I think it's an execution issue primarily. And you were going against a top 10 run defense last week. So yards are going to be hard to come by sometimes. And this week you're going against a top 10 run defense again in the Minnesota Vikings. So it's a matter of executing the plays more effectively as a collective unit up front. And, you know, not for nothing, fortunately for them, I think they're going against a team in the Vikings that haven't been terribly good running the football themselves. So what does this game turn into? I think we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, for run defense for the Bills, going into Week 8, they were allowing a league low under 80 rushing yards a game. Over the last two games against the Jets and the Packers, they've allowed an average of 190 rushing yards a game, a really big number. A lot of that has come in the second half when teams are trying to play catch-up. Instead of throwing the ball, offenses have tried to run the ball on the Bills, and it has worked. It worked out for the Jets last week. So how can the Bills make sure that Dalvin Cook doesn't go off in the second half?
Yeah, it's been interesting because Dalvin Cook is not used the way he used to be under new head coach Kevin O'Connell. This is a throwing offense that uses Cook as a complement, and when they've had to lean on him, they've only gotten average results. You have to believe that the Bills' defensive line has to step up their game this week. They're going to be motivated to do so.
All right, a couple things to keep your eye on in this week's game against the Vikings.
Coach, back at home, you're going to face the Vikings, 7-1 team. They've won 6 in a row. And the last time you faced him was all the way back in 2018. You were huge underdogs. It was Josh's first win as a starter. Seems like a lifetime ago. How different do they look, 3 or 4 years later now with Kevin O'Connell at the helm?
Yeah, he's done a fabulous job, and it seems like the culture that they've built around that team in a short amount of time has propelled them into this position. They've had good players. Just seems like a new energy on the team there. And so 7-1 versus 6-2 should be a good matchup in Orchard Park.
Yeah, 7-1. It's the best start of Kirk Cousins' career. He was celebrating pretty big after going back into Washington, the team where he began his career, and getting that big win, wearing chains and stuff on that. You know how it is on those charter flights, right? Yeah. But you had success against him in 2018. What's the key to his game and making sure their offense doesn't get going?
Well, I think it's a little bit of what we just talked about. It's how you control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. How do you control the clock, take care of the football, score touchdowns in the red zone, and then hold them to 3 when they have a chance in the red zone. So just really playing that complementary football.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. I appreciate you. Good luck against Minnesota this week. We're going to catch up with you next week to recap this Vikings game and then look ahead to the game against Cleveland Browns. So for you there at home, thanks for watching the Sean McDermott Show presented by Kaleida Health. And as always, we'll see you next time, and go Bills.
Final Thoughts is presented by Toyota. Toyota is the exclusive and official vehicle of the Buffalo Bills. Toyota, let's go places. The Sean McDermott Show is presented by Kaleida Health, the official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills. By Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Call 716-684-COMP today. By Toyota. Toyota is the exclusive and official vehicle of the Buffalo Bills. Toyota, let's go places. And by Independent Health. You deserve the red shirt treatment.